Rams fans, welcome in. This is Rams Showcase. My name is Sheriff Joe Bags. On this edition of Rams Showcase, it's draft week. Let's talk about it. Plus, familiar faces returning to Los Angeles, and later, Fan Queso's Draft Edition. Let's rock.
This is Rams Showcase with your host, Sheriff Joe Bags.
Yes, welcome into it, Rams Showcase. I am Sheriff Joe Bags. It is draft week. This is the week we get new Rams to root for. Man, that's pretty good stuff. And we'll get into draft talk here. The Rams are currently sitting with 8 picks. We'll see how that all shakes out. But we're going to kind of talk about the history of the picks the Rams have at these spots, and then possibly what they're going to be doing in this draft that's taking place this weekend in Green Bay. So rather exciting stuff. Before we get into that, make sure you follow along on the internet. That's at Rams Showcase and at Sheriff Joe Bags just about everywhere. Also ramshowcase.com. And before we get into the draft talk, I did want to mention just one more thing as well. And that's, I don't know if you noticed this little shadow box up here. I've got a buddy that makes those, and they can be fully customized to however you want them to be. It could be about the Rams. It could be another Rams Showcase one. It could be, Dodgers, Lakers, whatever you enjoy, or even, fully custom. I've seen people do, like, their children in them and stuff like that. So really, really cool stuff. If you are interested in one of those, I will absolutely get you hooked up. Also, for those of you that remember the history of this show of one Shaw's Customs, then we actually have, he actually has been doing some other stuff. That was really hot. But he's been doing some other stuff as far as getting some sweet merch. So I actually have this piece here that I'm trying to get framed right now. But it's a really cool Cooper Cup thing that's autographed that you can see over there. So he does have, I believe, some more Cooper Cup autographs if you are interested in that world right now. Get that put back over there. I don't want anything bad to happen. All righty, we're safe and good there. So, Cooper Cup autographs, and there's some other stuff that he's got. So, hey, if you're looking for some sweet merch, maybe some auto stuff like that, I can get you in touch with Josh from Shaw's Customs. He's absolutely awesome. I don't think there's a Shaw's Customs anymore, but hey, Josh has always got some stuff. He's always hitting me up for the things that he has. I'm a terrible texter backer, but I do see the messages that he sends in, so that's good. I try to be better at it, but it's so hard to just be on my phone all the time. I don't know how people do that. Just respond to everything? Do you ever put your phone down? Do you ever look up and see the world that you're in? I don't know, man, but that's how I feel. Maybe I'm just specific, which is very reasonable. Let's talk about the NFL Draft. 2025 NFL Draft heading our way this week, coming from Green Bay. It's not going to be as miserable in Green Bay the last time the Rams have been there. Usually it sucks there. So we're April time, so it's actually going to be pretty nice. Rams are going to be drafting from the LAFD Air Ops headquarters, which I think is absolutely awesome. If you've seen any of the promo videos for that, top tier, man. This is absolutely pinnacle. I think I shared it right away when, there's a video of a helicopter landing and Les Snead and Sean McVay hop out of it. And it's like, dude, this is the coolest football team in the universe. No other team is doing anything even remotely close to this. And I think it's so much fun to be a Rams fan right now. Especially, I think we've earned this a little bit. We've earned this excitement as Rams fans. For anybody who's been around long enough, I think that it's like, okay, yeah, we earned this one. So pretty cool stuff there. But also honoring the firefighters out there in Los Angeles. Obviously, we had the big mess that happened or like late last year, early this year with all them. So, shout out to all those first responders out there. Absolutely love that the Rams are doing so much for that world. But Rams have continually been very community oriented. So absolutely love to see that that's, of course, continuing. We also did get the news that the Rams guest announcer for the second and third round is going to be none other than Michael Brockers. Brock, LSU product, going to be announcing a few new Rams additions for us this year. Maybe he'll get an LSU one in there. I'm not sure. This is not going to want to stay up, is it? There we go. That's very loose. All right. So Rams picks here, and basically what I'm going to do here is kind of just run over the history of these Rams draft picks and where they're currently sitting right now. We'll talk about some of the we're going to mention all the names that were picked at these slots, but then kind of hammer on some of those most notable picks. The Rams do enter the draft with 8 total selections right now, late on night 1, and then a pretty decent gap. I don't think a trade down is out of the question, but also not guaranteed, of course. And I think that before we fully get into this, I think it's important to know that we've actually gotten the news or the reports, information, whatever, more this year than we have in previous years that teams' owners have a lot more say in the NFL draft than people think. And that's one of the reasons why I've not really gotten into mock drafts. I've always kind of disliked them. I used to do them a long time ago on like my other YouTube channel that I started when I was like 18 or something like that. I'm 33. I don't know. That's a while ago. But so I used to do some back there and did nail the Greg Robinson pick, by the way. So I like to brag about that. But I think ultimately we are hearing that there's teams that the owners say like, ooh, I really like this guy. Him, I like him. What is he still on the board? Stuff like that. And I think that it's evident when you look at certain teams and what they do draft-wise around the NFL. And I think that I would go to, and I don't have a confirmation on this or anything like that. I don't know for sure that Arthur Blank told the Atlanta Falcons and Raheem Morris to take Michael Penix. I haven't been told that explicitly, but do you really think that former defensive coordinator Raheem Morris, in his first year being the Atlanta Falcons head coach, would go with a backup quarterback? I just don't think so. I think that that's an Arthur Blank pick, and that's just one example. But we also hear the news that some coaches, GMs, they say, I got one message from my owner on draft day, and it just said, hey, good luck tonight. And it's like, yeah, that means that they are the ones picking. As far as the Rams specifically, I do think that Kroenke is involved somewhat, but I do think that Les and Sean are ultimately making the calls. I do think that if we look back and we kind of just zoom out a little bit here, zoom out and look at even just back to like 2026 when the Rams moving to Los Angeles, we didn't necessarily need to jump up and go to number 1, especially the capital that we sent off for that. One thing that I do think is possible, again, no confirmation on this. I'm not getting little nuggets here and there of information. This is just me kind of formulating these thoughts, is that I don't think it's possible. Rams get approved to move to LA, and then Stan Kroenke's like, okay, the NFL's already talking about us. We're moving to Los Angeles. Let's get them talking about us for the draft too. Go get number 1. I don't think that that's impossible. That maybe the conversation was go get number 1, then do what you want with it, whether that's Wentz, Goff, whatever, but go get number 1. Go get the number 1 overall pick, and I do think that that is a very realistic thing, although, again, I can't confirm that. Let's go ahead and get into it. Round 1, the Rams picking at 26th overall right now. And in the history of the Rams, 6 total times they have picked at number 26, dating back to 1938. Tackle Vic Markov out of Washington. 1944, tackle Gil Bowley out of Boston College. That was 26th overall in the 3rd round, by the way. And Markov was round 4, 26th overall. So a lot less teams back in those days. 57 was Billy Ray Smith, defensive tackle out of Arkansas. 76, we had linebacker Kevin McClain out of Colorado State. Kent Hill in 1979. That was out of Georgia Tech. And then 1989, probably the best 26th overall pick for the Rams. And that would be running back Cleveland Gary out of Miami. The Rams' next pick is a little bit after that. At 90 overall, we jump to the 3rd round. The Rams have picked at this spot 5 total times. Most recently, 1971. That would be running back Steve Worster out of Texas. 1950 before that was Cliff Coggan out of Southern Miss. You can tell me Southern Miss all you want to, man. The best player out of that college ever, all time. Best quarterback especially, Austin Davis. Argue with somebody else about it. All right. And then we have Johnny Zitch out of Colorado, and then guard Santiago, probably nailed that, out of Notre Dame. He was drafted in 46, so he probably is mad about my pronunciation there. 1937, defensive back Ray Johnson, coming out of Denver, actually. Denver University football team, which not a thing anymore. Really good college school, though. After that, the Rams pick 11 picks later. In round 3 to 101 overall. The Rams picked here 3 total times. 1938, Vic Spadacino, Minnesota. I feel like I used to be better with names. I feel like it's dwindled over time. 1999, the Rams take quarterback Joe Germain out of Ohio State. Good time to hop on with the Rams. That's cool stuff. And then in 2008, 101 overall, defensive back Justin King coming from Penn State. Next pick after that for the Rams coming in round 4, 127 overall, and the Rams picked at 127 overall 5 different times, starting back in 49, fullback Paul Berry out of Tulsa, and then 55, tackle Joe Ray out of UCLA, 1963, Kurt Ferrier out of Montana State, defensive tackle, 1963, running back Burton Matthews he did not go to college, and we have 1993, most recent 127 overall pick for the Rams, and that's Greg Bellin out of Wisco. 190 overall. This is actually a pretty hefty one for the Rams with 9 total selections. Dating back to 46, the Rams took Bob Albrecht. That was out of Marquette. 1948, Ray Borneman out of Texas. 1954, we had Roger Frey coming from Georgia Tech. After that, 65, Bill Robertson coming from Austin. 79, Jeff Delaney coming from Pittsburgh. 81, defensive end Mike Clark. That is out of Florida. 1990, took a punter at this slot. Kent Elmore out of Tennessee. Then next up, 2007 would be Ken Shackelford out of Georgia. And then the most recent 190 overall for the Rams would be 2016 linebacker Josh Forrest. That was the Rams' first year back in Los Angeles, coming back from St. Louis. He came his way from Kentucky. Just 3 more picks to go here. Round 6, 195 overall. The Rams picked here 4 total times. Tom Call did not go to college. That was 1943. 1957, Dave Trippett went to UCLA. 1986, another UCLA product, linebacker Steve Jarecki. And then 2018, SJD, Sebastian Joseph Day, coming from Rutgers Seabass. Hell yeah. And then round 6 again, 201 overall, so just 6 picks later, 5 total times the Rams had picked here. 1988, Darrell Franklin coming from Washington, the wide receiver. 91, great year, linebacker Pat Tyrants out of Nebraska. 96, the Rams took tight end Hayward Clay coming from Texas A&M, Gig Mags. And then 2004, one of the all-time greats, quarterback Jeff Smoker coming from Michigan State. And then an incredible story. If you don't know this guy's story, I highly recommend kind of like diving further into it. But in 2015, the Rams took wide receiver Bud Sasser out of Mizzou. And it was very unfortunate. Bud Sasser actually never got to play in the NFL as he did have some health concerns and essentially was told by doctors, like, you cannot play football anymore. No more contact kind of thing. And one thing that happened there, being a 201 overall pick, is actually the Rams brought him onto the staff. So they actually hired him as some kind of assistant in there. So that was kind of cool. Obviously, he didn't stick around a long time, but to go from Mizzou to the St. Louis Rams, which was at the time just very close, obviously, at least you're in state, I think that his story is unfortunate for sure in his playing career. And I think, based on what he was looking like in college, man, I think he could have been a decent player, but unfortunately was not able to get medically cleared, so never did play in the NFL, but did be employed by the NFL for a short time. So Bud Sasser there, 2015 most recent time. And then the final pick for the Rams here in the draft currently scheduled, 1 pick after that, 202 overall. The Rams picked here 5 total times. In 1945, took Bill Griffin out of Kentucky. 1954, center Ed Wilhelm out of Houston. 1966, Terry Parks didn't have to go far, coming from Los Angeles State. 1971, defensive end Tony Garay out of Hofstra. And then the most recent, coming in 1982, running back A.J. Jones, coming from Texas. So that's the history of the picks that the Rams are currently sitting at and what they've done there. So I would say that if we're looking down this list here of like who is the most impactful player that the Rams have picked with their current selections heading into the draft, would probably be Cleveland Gary, if I had to maybe guess here. I feel confident about that, actually. I don't know if you have any disagreements. Keep them to yourself. Or drop them. It's fine. I don't care. And let's take a look here at just some positions that the Rams are being talked about quite a bit in positions that the Rams could be kind of gearing towards as we head into this draft. As I think it's important to note, too, that we have technically all of our starters. Can we improve in some spots? Absolutely, we can improve in some spots. But if we needed to go into the season right now with our roster the way it is set up today, I think we'd be fine. We can go in with D. Will and Akello on the outside. Can we get better there? Yes. We can go in with Landman and Spates at inside linebacker. Can we get better there? Yes. We can go in with Tyler Higbee, Colby Parkinson, and Davis Allen at tight end. But can we get better there? Yes, we can. So I think that that's important to look at, is that we are in a really good position in terms of we don't need to get anything. It's like if we don't get this position, then kiss the Super Bowl goodbye. We're not going to do it. That's not the case in this draft, which is really nice and a really stress-free position for the Rams to be in, which is why I'm also very indifferent on all of this stuff right now. I'm very much just like, dude, tell me who to root for, Les. You got this. Tell me what names I'm making nicknames for as we get into training camp and stuff, man. That's where I'm at, because it is very low stress. No huge glaring needs for this Rams team. But speaking of tight end, it's a spot that the Rams have been tied to quite a bit as we've kind of crept into the draft. But the tight end spot, hey, Higbee is absolutely solid. He did miss most of the year. Thanks a lot, Kirby. And I'm not 1,000% sold that this position is a must-have in the draft, as I really like Higbee, and I also like Davis Allen. I think I think that those guys are really good. I think Parkinson is solid. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more last year. But Higbee, Parkinson, Allen, I feel fine with it, with those guys entering the season if we need to. But a true playmaker at the spot also feels totally real. I would say that if the Rams go tight end, it tells us that room will probably be pretty different going into the 26 season, as I also don't know if we're going to hold 4. So what would that mean for who's on the roster now? Who's out if we're not holding 4 going into the season? You know what I mean? Is it Allen? Is it Parkinson? Is it Higbee? I would doubt it, but who knows? I mean, we just got rid of Cooper Kupp, you know what I mean? So nothing's impossible anymore. So I think that there's a need there, essentially, but I don't think if the Rams don't hit this, then it's like, oh, well, we're not going to be good then. No division title for us kind of thing. I just don't think it hinges on that selection, although I do think a very strong playmaker at this spot, somebody who can break some more tackles. I think that's what we're missing there. I think that's what I want to see, and I do have a name for that. That's going to come with Fan Quesos, though, so I'm holding that one in. Let's see here. And moving on, offensive line. So the Rams do have their starting 5 here. We know it's going to be AJ, Steve, Coleman, K-Dot, Big Rob. We know that, all right? So the depth, though, we could certainly use at some, especially on the outside, the tackle spots. I think we could use some depth there. I would imagine that the Rams probably get somebody who can play tackle and guard, maybe 4 spots for this kind of person. That's the kind of player that the Rams typically do go for. Who is that in this draft? I have no idea. I cannot name you one offensive lineman that's in this draft class right now. But I would say the team probably has a pretty good grasp of it. So me not knowing any names doesn't mean it's going to be a bad draft. So that's good news. And the Rams drafting an O-line, it just makes sense. It just needs some depth there. I wouldn't necessarily anticipate it being that early, unless the Rams are trying to get into a position where they can have somebody sit behind Big Rob at that right tackle spot. Although he's like mid-30s, man. We could still have him for another 4 or 5 years if he wanted to. Does he? I have no idea, but I love the way that Big Rob is just all business all the time, man. No messing around. Big Rob is here to play football and just kick your butt cheeks off. So, and he does it. Yeah, and he's incredible. I love Big Rob, man. So, quarterback next up is a spot that the Rams have been tied to quite a bit. As I don't know, man. I think that I'm in the camp that I don't really see this as a necessary move. Not this year. Not this year. We don't need it this year. I'm also not in the camp that if a guy doesn't sit behind Stafford for a year, that he's inherently just going to be bad. I don't agree with that. We have a great coaching staff. We have a great roster. I think that we're a friendly team to a quarterback to come into if we do that next year and maybe Matthew Stafford is not around. I just don't think that has to happen for success to be guaranteed or anything like that. Because first of all, it's not. And second of all, we're a really good football team. You know what I mean? In this year's class, I just don't like. I don't really like this year's draft class. There's one quarterback that I really like. He's going 1 overall. No one else is going to have a shot at that. There's no other quarterback that I would be excited for, I guess, going into this draft. Shadur, he's got some traits and some mentalities that I really, really like. I'm just not sure if where he fits in with us, and especially if he's going to need to sit for how long, then I'm also not sure how he would like that. But again, Rams, very friendly team to players, so players like to be here, so maybe that would change. Also, I don't think we're at 26. I don't think that Sanders is going to get to us. And Dart, I wouldn't want. I think it just kind of ties into of like we were so close to getting past the Philadelphia Eagles, who destroyed their next two opponents. So it's not unreasonable to think that if the Rams could beat that Philadelphia Eagles on that, 15 yards away, and if Bo Limmer gets those blocks and gets those communications right, that the Rams win that game and maybe go on to win the Super Bowl. We don't know for sure, but there's those questions, right? So I think that we're in a spot where if we go with a quarterback, especially in the first round, I think that we're kind of burning ourselves a little bit. We need to get guys, I think, that help us win this year because we are in a spot to attack it this year. So getting a guy who's probably going to be sitting in street clothes most of the year with a clipboard and behind Jimmy Garoppolo all year, not at 26. Not when there's people on the board who can maybe help us win football games this year when this guy won't. So I think the Rams should wait until next year anyway. We also have fan cases about that. We'll touch on it there. But if the Rams go quarterback, I would expect Bennett to be looking for a new spot. Maybe he sticks around on the practice squad, but I would think that he would just be a full-blown free agent, if I had to guess. But if the Rams go quarterback, I'd also assume it's because the guy has traits and the team likes that. And I think that if the Rams go quarterback this year, that tells us that Matthew Stafford is entering his last year of the draft, or of the Rams. And I don't think that everybody will agree with me on that, but I do kind of believe that, especially if they go early. If, say, in the first round, the Rams try to move up from 26 and they try to go for a Shadur or maybe a Jackson Dart, somebody like that, I would think that that tells us what the Stafford contract is because we still don't have that number yet. So I think that that's important. And if we don't get a quarterback, then I would assume and guess that we have at least 2 more seasons coming from number 9, which I'm all for. Next up, inside linebacker, a position that the Rams staff probably feels okay about. The Rams staff, they are, bringing in Nate Landman, I actually really like. Omar Spates was getting progressively better and better and better. The way he was able to attack some of those run lanes as well, absolutely pinnacle, man. Love to see that. And then you also bring back Troy Reeder, who the coaching staff is very high on. And, he's definitely got the experience in defense, and I do think that ultimately we will see him mostly on special teams, but I do think that he makes his way into the defense in some settings. But I think that Nate Landman he's my underdog green dot, and I think that he could be that spot. But I would say that I feel really comfortable with Landman and Spates inside linebacker going into the season. Mainly Landman because that's kind of how the Rams defense usually runs, is one inside linebacker, although sometimes the 2 come in. But I would say that I don't think that that's impossible, but I would also think that if the Rams do go for an inside linebacker, it's probably going to be somebody who can hit sideline to sideline and is just super athletic. That would be my guess. Cornerback, we definitely love the guys we have now at this spot. D. Will and Akello are absolutely fan favorites, and people are pretty loud about it, honestly. But I will say that the Rams can and should get better on the outside at this position. I don't think it's impossible that Ramsey returns, but more realistically, I think this is his chance to finally play with Derwin James. They've talked about that they will play together at some point. They will be on the same team at some point. Jalen Ramsey absolutely loves Los Angeles, and I don't know if the Rams are willing to bring him back. I think it makes perfect sense that he goes to the Chargers and plays with Derwin James. They'll probably be incredible together, and that's unfortunate. But I do think that that's very realistic, much more realistic than him coming back to the Rams. And also, can we stop talking? Rams have the 8th best odds to get Jalen. That's not that good. That's not even that high. Why is that news, man? That's crazy to me. But I think that Jalen goes to the Chargers. I don't think that we get him back, but I do think that the Rams take a corner. Despite the round, I do think that this person could work their way into the starting position over Akello Witherspoon. Not D. Will, but over Akello Witherspoon. It's just because the inconsistencies there, and clearly a little bit of reluctancy to bring him back, right? We let him test the market a couple years in a row and then late bring him back. So I do think that we got to consider that kind of stuff. I don't think it'll be a random guy. I think that when we find out who the Rams take at that spot, watch them play, watch their style. I think that that's going to tell us absolutely so much. My biggest takeaway from watching the Rams draft since they've returned to Los Angeles is essentially that this team really knows what it wants, and the highlight tapes are not anything that they're making decisions on. I think that, we should know that, of course, but just because this guy, broke some ankles, it doesn't mean the Rams are going to get him as a running back. You know what I mean? So I think that the Rams do a very good job of getting scheme fits and personality fits. I think that they're probably the best at that in the NFL right now. And one of the reasons I've fallen off of the pre-draft coverage is because if this team nails the draft like it does every single year, why are we worried about it? Why are we stressed, dude? Like, I don't know. I just feel like it's been so good for a while now that it's like, oh, whatever, man. Like, I might be wrong, and that's fine. I don't need to pick too. So, like, I trust Les to just go ahead and do that. But any of the selections the Rams make could have a major impact this season, despite their position that they're drafted at. And I'm looking at McCullough, Spates. Oh, I blew both of those names up. But those are UDFAs. But, it doesn't matter where you come into the Rams. It's just that you come into the Rams. And once you get there, all bets are off, dude. And you're off to the races. So I think that no matter where you get in, no matter what round, you can absolutely have a major impact. And I think what I would like to see out of this draft is just fits, scheme fits. I think the Rams do that. They're really good at that right now. If we're going to push for another ring, I think that we're probably going to see some rookies that come in and are able to contribute. Tight end, wide receiver, corner. I think that those are three positions we see people actually contribute to this team. My underrated takeaway also going into this draft is last year the Rams hit defense really heavy, and I don't think it's impossible that this year the Rams hit offense really heavy. But also I think it's important to look back. 2020 draft, no one left from that draft. 21 draft, only two left. I thought that was really interesting. 22 draft, Durant, Kyron, Lake, and DK are still around. Darian Kendrick, I also think is a possible starter at corner ahead of Akella Witherspoon. Comment all you want to about that one. All right. Also, heads up, before we're going to take a quick break here, but I wanted to share this with you. I ordered one of the Rams mystery jerseys coming from the Rams auction site, and I got a pretty sweet one, so check that out. Hi, Sheriff Joe Baggs and Carl here, Colonel Carl, if you weren't aware. Is my little guy over here. I got my jersey in today, my autographed mystery jersey from the Rams auctions. And if you aren't aware of this auction, through the Rams app, you can actually go scroll down just a little ways, and there's a yellow tab that's Rams auctions. And right now, they have mystery jerseys autographed by a former or current Rams player. And then some of them also come with golden tickets, which you can exchange for a autographed Jared versus football. Carl didn't want to be any part of this. Carl likes the cat teams. He's actually Lions, Panthers, Bengals, Jaguars. He's a fan of all those teams. So we are anti-bird household, though. Seahawks, Cardinals, Eagles, all those. So we got that going for us. But I do have my jersey in today. I have not opened it. It was the hardest thing I've done in my life is have this all day long and not open it. Last time I got the Super Bowl jersey, the Greg Zuerlein jersey, that one, I received it and opened that bad boy immediately. So without messing around, I guess, too much, let's go ahead and crack this bad boy open. First of all, keep in your mind right now, who do you think this is? Because I absolutely have no idea. You can pay a little bit extra and get the information of who you're getting, and then you have the option to decline it or whatever. But I was like, you know what? That's no fun, dude. No fun. So we just went ahead and went for it. So I have no idea what jersey is in here. We are about to find out. Let's do this. All right. We're just going to get a little bit aggressive with the tearing here. Or I'm just going to look pathetic. That's cool, too. So let's see. All right. We're getting a tear in here. And, all right. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's see what we got here. See if it's white. I was expecting them all to be blue. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. It's so hard to tell. Oh, no way. Okay, I know. You don't know yet. This is a good one, guys. This is a good one. All right. Let's get this open. Oh, my God. Don't ruin the jersey. All right. All right, so I now know who this is. because it says this on the page here. So I'm going to pull this down here. All right, let's see. Oh my God, this is so sick, guys. Kobe Turner, let's go. Oh my gosh, dude, that is so sick. Oh man, you got the autograph right here. Number 91, some legendary 91s in Rams history, of course, and Kobe Turner being one of them. This is actually my second Kobe Turner autograph, which is rather exciting. My first one is back here on this flag. He actually put the treble clef on that one, so no treble clef here. Oh wait, there is. It's just a little bit, a little wonkier than my other one. Man, this is awesome. Holy moly, guys. It's interesting it doesn't have like the stuff on it, like the badge and all that stuff, but dude, this is fire. Oh man. All right. So what I'm going to need now is a jersey frame. I'm going to make sure that this bad boy stays nice and fresh, foamy. But yo, Kobe Turner, man, the conductor. That is so sick, man. I got another Kobe Turner autograph on a jersey this time. Badass. Hell yeah. Back to the show. All right, welcome back in Ram Showcase. I am Sheriff Joe Baggs. That Kobe Turner jersey, man. Oh man, I'm absolutely loving that. I will say this though. All right, I was gonna preface before we get into our news here. I think I'm done purchasing autographs. Not because they're not super sick, but because I've gotten plenty of autographs myself, handing them to the players themselves. I got a flag right behind my camera here that has Robert Quinn, Jared Goff, Chase Reynolds, Mike Waffle. And then who else is on that one? Rob Havenstein, and then Paul McRoberts. I've got another one back here that's signed. I've got Josh Reynolds there, John Johnson, Rob Havenstein again on that one, Rob Havenstein again on this one. He's been around a while, man. So, yeah, this one here, that's probably the best one, the coolest one, but it's so much better when you get them yourself. So I think that I'm kind of in that, because like the Kobe Turner jersey, it's over here, but it's awesome. I absolutely love it. But the Kobe Turner autograph I got on this flag, it kind of means a little bit more to me because I watched him do it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe I'm alone in that world, but I think that my attachment to things that the autographs that I've purchased, not that intense. I'm totally cool to get rid of like the Tutu Atwell, stuff like that. It's like, because I like Tutu. I want his autographs. I don't think I have one actually outside of that, so maybe not. But but I think that makes sense. I don't know. How would I know what makes sense to you? This isn't even live. Let's go ahead and get into the news. Miami Dolphins and cornerback Jalen Ramsey have agreed that the team will be seeking a trade for the superstar. The Rams did win a Super Bowl in Los Angeles with Jalen Ramsey, and Miami has paid his roster bonus already, so there is a little bit of action going on there. It is unclear whether the Rams are even interested in a move, but I do expect something to happen either during or post-draft. The timing of this is rather odd to me, that Jalen is having these conversations now, and it kind of seems like the Miami Dolphins are slowly imploding. It's I think, who put it that way? I think it was it might have been Florio, of like the slow motion train wreck. That feels very real for the Miami Dolphins right now. They are very slowly dying. Painful death out there in Miami. They'll probably be decent this year too, which is unfortunate, because after that they're crumbling, man. So that's gonna be some rough stuff, I think. But there is no indication right now that the Rams do want Ramsey back. We haven't even heard any hints of the Rams being interested in that world. But Jalen being open, that he respects the Rams and the city and loves it out here, then I think it's not impossible. All right, but I do think that he goes to the Chargers. And also, I do think that they're waiting for June 1 based on contract stuff. If he's going to get cut, I think it'll be a post-June 1 designation, much like Cooper Kupp for the Rams was designated post-June 1. Next up, Puka Nacua making headlines after appearing on a podcast with Julian Edelman. Great podcast. It was very long. It was very awesome. Loved every second of it. Puka Nacua, I will listen to that dude talk forever. He's just so casual, just a normal dude, but then a superstar, which is so fun to watch. But of course, sitting down with Julian Edelman, he stated that the 49ers, if they extend Brock Purdy with a deal that includes $50 million or more a year, that their window is closing. Lots of reaction on the internet about this one. 49ers are following what I would think is a similar path to the Cowboys, especially if they pay big dollars to Brock Purdy, which I think, and maybe this is the Rams fan in me saying this stuff, I think that Brock Purdy should go for it all. You were the last pick in the draft, man, and I think that if you know you're not that guy, then you get as much money as you can, and I think that's exactly why his agent's pushing for a lot of money, because we have gotten that news that agent wants to go, balls to the wall here, and I think that's real and would be awesome. That's what I'll say. I'm in the camp, though, that I think Purdy probably isn't a long-term guy either way, no matter how much money he's making. Whether you pay him 30 or 50, I just don't think that in 5 years he's still going to be the starting quarterback of the 49ers. I just don't. He's fine, but he doesn't elevate his team. He uses his weapons well. He doesn't elevate his weapons, and there's a massive difference in that. And you can argue with me all you want to about it. Any 49ers fans want to hop on here and give me something that is evidence of the contrary, feel free. Feel free. I can't find anything. I cannot find any moment or anything where he's elevating his team, not just using his weapons well. So now that they have less weapons out there, let's watch what happens, man. Let's watch what happens. Also, the NFL schedule to be released next month. This is looking out just after the 10th of May that we'll be receiving the NFL schedule. Don't expect uniform schedules for a while, but expect a uniform at some point. Just not sure when that'll drop for the Rams. It could be any time. Literally could be anytime. It could be happening right now while I'm talking about this. It's Easter Sunday, and it could be happening right now. The Rams are releasing a uniform. My guess, by the way, I don't have no insight on anything, but my guess is dark blue and white. I think the Rams go with a navy and the white, and I think it'll be a dark jersey. So I think it's going to be a navy jersey with white, and then I think it'll be in the same style as the bone jersey where it says Los Angeles Rams on the side, and then I think that we see white horns that are the same style as the current helmets. I don't think that changes. I don't think that we do a throwback where we see the full horn come back or anything like that. I do think this horn is what we have right now, and I think it'll be a while till we see anything different as far as a throwback. I also don't think it's impossible that we see white helmet, blue horn, which would be a first. Blue horn would be a first. We've only ever seen the white, gold, and yellow. So that's it. So that's my pick, by the way. Dark, like a navy blue with white, and then the helmet I'm kind of torn on whether it's white on blue or blue on white, but I do think that that's what we get there. So there you go, man. But my personal pick also, when we loop back to the NFL schedule, the Philadelphia Eagles are going to get the home opener, the kickoff game on Thursday night, and that's my pick for the Rams. I think the Rams play in Philadelphia week 1 to kick off the season. I think that the story of the Rams and Eagles, their battle right now for what feels like top 2 teams in the NFC going into 2025. I think that we see that one week 1. I think that would be major for the NFL to have such a massive matchup for that game. The Eagles do have some other opportunities for that. Obviously, they're in a division with Washington, who they played in the NFC Championship game, but I do think that one will be pushed back later. I think that that's it. So I think Rams at Philadelphia Eagles is my pick for Rams week 1. And then my personal pick for Rams home opener is actually going to be the Indianapolis Colts. I think that we see that. So I don't know if that's going to be week 2 or 3. That does tend to happen, especially when you share a stadium. It's a little bit more finagling when working with the schedule. But I think at Philadelphia for the opener week 1, and then Colts for home opener is going to be my pick. And surely the Rams are going to be doing a pick'em for the NFL schedule. They have one right now open for the draft. So if you go over to the Rams app, find the draft pick'em thing, and then it kind of guides you through what position the Rams are going to take, stuff like that. It's really fun. I won one time during the season of the Rams pick'em. That's actually how I got to go to the Rams-Bills game. It's because I won. I got the most points in a week, and then when you win a week, you get tickets. So I got to go to the Rams-Bills game. Was the game I picked, which was absolutely incredible. Top-tier stuff there. Got to go with my buddy Aaron. It was absolutely incredible, dude. Of all the games we could have gone to last year, like, it's Super, super cool, man. Super, super cool. Oh yeah, I want to talk about this real fast. I have to find this, so I'm just going to kind of stall a little bit. But I wanted to talk about. I've been like, I think we all kind of use ChatGPT, right? If you don't, then I mean, whatever, that's cool, I guess. But so I had this conversation with ChatGPT, and it basically had mentioned to me. It said, "It's like, do you want me to give you an assessment of your personality?" Like, yo, yeah, dude, that sounds sick. And then it scared me, because it's like it kind of listens to your conversations a bunch and stuff like that, and it kind of talks about it goes into your other conversations and stuff like that, and kind of gives you this. So this is its assessment of me talking about the Rams. All right, this is absolutely awesome. This is my vibe that it's picked up from me when talking about the Rams. It says, man, I'm all about the Rams. I want to work in their front office one day, maybe as a scout. I've been diving into analytics lately, trying to get really good at this. And was like, all right, ChatGPT, using context clues, I'm here for it. And then the alternate me, which is very professional me, first of all, not me. And this one says, the Los Angeles Rams present a compelling case study in brand evolution and operational strategy. My ultimate objective is to secure a front office role where I can apply advanced data modeling to optimize scouting decisions and personnel development frameworks. And I was like, all right, I would never say most of those words. But then it kind of offered me, do you want the chaotic creative view? I said, absolutely, I do. So this is chaotic creative Sheriff Joe Baggs talking about the Los Angeles Rams, according to ChatGPT here. So it says, the Rams are my Roman Empire. I think about Aaron Donald like some people think about spiritual awakenings. I'm not saying the horn on the helmet talks to me, but I'm not saying that either. I will work for them someday, either in the analytics department or just like as a live-in vibes consultant. I haven't figured out the job title yet. Something will manifest. And that scared me. All right. Because I was, yeah, dude. Yeah, nailed it. Absolute dead on, dude. That's exactly a live-in vibes consultant for the Rams. Dream job. Dream job. Voice of the Rams, number 1. Live-in vibes consultant. That's number 2. All right, let's get into fan cases here. Oh man, that's fun. Where am I at here? Let's see. Oh, we're actually gonna start on Facebook. So let's go over Chip and oh man, I just Googled Facebook because I'm 1,000 years old, guys. Holy moly. Okay. All right, fan quesos. Draft edition, by the way, and I'll preface this with this, okay? I'm not gonna do the thing, okay? And if you have been around on Ram Showcase long enough, you know what I mean by that, okay? I'm not gonna do the thing where I just kind of I kind of say like I don't know, I don't care kind of thing. I'm not gonna do that, okay? I'm gonna do my best to just answer your questions the way you want them asked, and I'm with it, okay? So. First one here is going to come from Shannon on the Facebook page, and says, we need a tight end in this draft. Who's your favorite mid to late round tight end? And I absolutely love this question because tight ends are, so far, the position that I have been most interested in so far in this draft. I don't know why. I'm not sure why. I'm just really like digging that part of it. So looking through and going, you said mid to late round draft picks here. And I did see your comment there, man, and I almost wish you didn't put that because that's exactly my pick, too. Harold Fannin, coming from Bowling Green, man. I think that he would be a really strong pick if, I don't know where he's supposed to land, anything like that, but I know he's like kind of middle of the pack. I think that Fannin is an awesome selection for the Rams. I think that he fits in with the Rams very, very well. I think the way he carries his momentum after the catch and turns it upfield, I absolutely love. And then after the catch also, ability to break tackles. That first tackle after he catches the ball, very difficult to make for a defender, all right? And I absolutely love that. I think that's something that could get him drafted to the Rams. So yes, I'm with you, dude. Harold Fannin out of Bowling Green, that's kind of like the one guy I'm kind of locked in on a little bit. The more I kind of study on him and hear from him and watch his stuff, the more I'm like, yeah, I think this is a Ram. I think this is good. This guy's got Rams vibes to me, man, up and down. So yeah, I'm absolutely with you, man. I almost wish you wouldn't have commented that who you said, because then you could have come in afterwards and be like, dude, that's mine. Like, you know, but now it feels like I'm leeching onto your answer here. And that's not the case. But yeah, I absolutely love that, man. With you 100%. Yeah, Fannin, man. Give me Fannin. Call him Rammon or something. That doesn't work. I don't know. We'll figure something out. All right, let's head over to the YouTube channel here. We're just going to go down the list here. This one coming from Paul. What's up, Paul? Says, do you think the Rams will draft a quarterback this year? Do I think that the Rams draft a quarterback this year? Not really. Do I want the Rams to draft a quarterback this year? Absolutely not. And that's kind of where I'm a little bit, I guess, opposite of so many Rams fans right now. There's so many people that want a quarterback this year, and I just don't. I don't see the need. I don't see the guy in the draft class where it's like, dude, this is a McVay guy, man. If we can get this guy, then post Stafford's going to be fun. There's nobody like that in this class for me. I think that there's some guys potentially in that spot next year, though, for me. I don't want somebody who's going to sit on the bench, third stringer, knock out Bennett. I mean, Bennett may not be back anyway, but that's kind of beside the point. But I don't see a need. I don't see why it's necessary, and I also just don't see any quarterback in this year's draft class where I'm like, ooh, this guy, this looks like the next Ram starter. I just don't see it. Compton Mania. It says Super Bowl, horns up. Heck yeah, dude. Gonna win it too in Santa Clara. We're gonna stop the Niners from doing it in our house, and then we're gonna win it in theirs. Watch. It's gonna be awesome. Payo time. Coming in, he says, choose one. One, you get to announce a Rams late round draft pick. Number 2, you get to hang out at the Rams draft headquarters during the draft. And 3, interview Tavon Austin for 3 hours about everything. I love the way that that's worded, or just everything. Just talk everything for 3 hours. If I can do it, though, for Tavon, I want to add to that, because I love Tavon. I think Tavon's awesome, man. Swish. I love all that stuff. But I would say I want to watch a game with Tavon and then just chat with him the whole time. That's what I would want to do. But that's not actually my selection. I'm going number 2 here, dude. Gonna hang out at the Rams draft headquarters during the draft, because I don't think that if that happens, I don't think it's impossible that the Rams would let you make a phone call. And how sick would that be? To be like, hey, this is Sheriff Joe Bags. You ever dreamed about playing in the NFL? I don't even know what I would say. Oh, man. I'd probably do something so stupid. I'd probably call up the guy who they want to draft and be like, yeah, we've been trying to reach you about your car's extended. Yeah. And they'd be like, no, give me the phone. If like Les would be like, oh, no. But that's definitely what I would do, man. Announcing a late round pick. I mean, no one even cares anymore about the late round pick. They don't even talk about it on TV. Like, you barely see that anymore. Last time I feel like I remember a late round pick even being announced was Michael Sam. So I don't think that would. No, I don't want to do that one necessarily. If I could do like a number 2, that'd be cool. But yeah, hanging out at the Rams draft headquarters and messing with a draftee is probably exactly what I would do. That just seems like a Joe Bags move, dude. Straight up, seems like a Joe Bags move. Next one here from Payo Time. Question: What would have to happen for this draft to be a disappointment for the Rams? Like if they don't draft a single linebacker or cornerback, maybe they trade up for a position they don't need. I don't think anything could be a disappointment. I'll be completely honest with you, man. I guess also, when do we determine the disappointment? Because if it's us like moving up for a position we didn't need, well, we didn't need Todd Gurley. We had Zach Stacy, Trey Mason. You know, like we didn't need Aaron Donald when we drafted him. You know, so I that one I would want to play out. I would have to like give it 4 years and then, or at least 2 or 3 before I'm like, okay, well that one didn't work out. But it's like you look back at I was talking with my dad about this yesterday. You go back to the draft where the Chargers took Joey Bosa, and now you can say like, yeah, it was kind of a bummer of a pick, didn't really work out. He's gone and stuff like that. But you still look back at that draft, and it's like you have to still go into it, and with the knowledge that you had at the time, he was the right pick. You know what I mean? Like it's there wasn't anybody else on the board where it's like, oh man, who do you go for? Do you go with Bosa or do you go with this guy? It was like, no, Bosa was the pick, and sometimes it just doesn't work out like that. But for it to be a disappointment, first of all, you'd have to ask me in 3 years. And also, because like there's some draft classes that we've seen recently where it's like we thought it was really good, and then like now, like the 21 draft class, like no one hear from that anymore, man. So, well, I like that class, but I think that ultimately the disappointment for me would just be if in 3 years no one's here anymore or no one's contributing. That's the big thing. But if we don't draft a single linebacker or cornerback, then I'm sure that the other picks that the Rams want went with, we're good. And if we don't draft a cornerback, well, we still got, D. Will, Akello, Kobe, DK. I still feel good about that spot. If we don't draft a linebacker, Landman, I think, is an underrated addition to this team. And I know I say that every year, and it usually blows up. I said that about Trey White. I get it. I usually have like one free agent where I'm like, this is a good move, man. And then it's terrible. Jonah Jackson was another one where I was like, Jonah Jackson and Trey White, dude, this is so sick that we got these two dudes. Didn't do anything for us. So that could be the case. But I think that either way, I feel good about it going up. But I think that ultimately disappointment in the draft, not necessary. I mean, I would switch that question back to you, man. What would you be disappointed at? Or anybody, actually. Let's open that up. What would you think would make this draft a disappointment? What would the Rams need to do for that? Next two here coming from Rams House. Whose house? Said, what would it be like sharing a room with Kobe Durant? Landshark. First of all, we've certainly done Kobe Durant before. I'm trying to remember what I said. I know I remember this one. That's why. Oh, man. I don't remember what I said before. Let me try to think of something else here. So, Kobe Durant, for sure, a room with Kobe. I think he'd get me into video games, I think. Because I don't play video games right now, but I think he would be playing, and he'd be like, dude, just hop on here for a second. And then I would, and it'd be fun. You know what I mean? And he'd probably just like, whatever we played, he would just beat the crap out of me, because I don't even know if I have that, like, I don't even know if I have those mental processes anymore to like still be able to video game. You know what I mean? I'm so out of practice on it. I'm trying to think last time I played something. Oh man. I mean, I played at a barcade for my sister's birthday not long ago up in Denver. Went to one up in Denver. That was pretty cool. I beat my cousin at Blitz. That was pretty sweet. But yeah, I'm trying. Doesn't matter really. But yeah, I think that we'd play. We'd play video games. I think if you had to color eggs with one Ram on this team, who would it be? Oof. I haven't done any Easter related events in so many years. I don't even really remember Easter stuff. Like, we used to do things where you go out to Penrose, Colorado. You've never heard of it. You maybe have, Rams House, but nobody else has ever heard of Penrose, Colorado. Oh man, if I had to color eggs with one, give me Kobe Turner, dude. Give me Kobe Turner, man. I think that Turner would be so much fun. He'd be like in there singing and stuff like that. I think that'd be an absolute blast, man. So yeah, Kobe Turner, I think is who I'd go with to color eggs with. Yeah, it'd be fun. Trying to think of an offensive lineman too. Somebody unnecessary. Like, I would go with Kobe Turner because he'd be absolutely perfect for it. But then also like Devontae Adams, who like wouldn't even care. Like, he would just be there and not caring. He'd be like, yeah, you can do mine. That's fine. Yeah. And I don't know why I feel that way about Devontae. That's where we're at. And the last one here, coming from Joe St. Louis, 69. That's the coolest name of all time. Says, should we get an offensive lineman? I deeply feel we need this on our team. Should we focus on a quarterback? I think we shouldn't grind our backup to exceed to a high-level quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo. It'll make the whiners mad. Yeah, that is true, man. Kind of partial, like I have like a partial dream that that in the NFC Championship game, for no reason at all, the 49ers also make it, and so do the Rams. And for not an injury purpose, I'm calling it an equipment malfunction, that Matthew Stafford needs to come out of the game, and then Jimmy Garoppolo hits Devontae Adams for the game-winning touchdown to send the Rams to the Super Bowl to play in Levi's Stadium. So that's my dream. That's like I'm trying to force that into the universe, because I think that'd be the funniest thing in the world. So if Jimmy gets thrown to the ground by Aaron Donald, throws a pick to end their chances to win a Super Bowl in our house, and then goes up and throws a game-winning touchdown to Devontae Adams, who has a rocky past with him and stuff like that, to also just absolutely just shove that sword right through the heart of the 49ers fans. I think that would be the funniest thing in the universe, dude. It's like, not only would I be celebrating, I'd be laughing so hard at that. So I'm kind of with that, man. But if it's Matthew Stafford, that's also fine. Either way, seeing Niners fans sad is always a good time. So it doesn't matter how it happens either way. But Should we get an offensive lineman? I absolutely agree. We do need it. We need some depth at that spot. You're down some guys from last year who are not back around. So I do think that the Rams do get some offensive linemen coming in this year. And should we focus on quarterback? You say I think we shouldn't. I absolutely agree. There's no reason to bring in a quarterback this year because he will be your third stringer. He's going to be sitting in street clothes most of the time. We'll get to see him in preseason. That's cool, I guess, but ultimately not relevant. Also, speaking of preseason, we should get that schedule decently soon. The preseason schedule. I like to do this every year. I just like to put it out to the universe. Rams in Denver. Rams in Denver for the preseason, please. That is like an hour drive from me. It is so nice. I-25 is right out this window right here. A little bit ways that way. I'm not super on the highway, but I-25 is right here. Hit up north. You're at whatever they call that stadium now. I still call it Invesco. I'm there in like an hour. So I'm here for it, man. Pepsi Center, Ball Arena, right there as well. But yeah, I want to see that, man. Putting that out to the universe. Help me out with that. Can we? Okay. Rams in Denver for the preseason. Make it happen, man. Make it happen. That's where that's where this kind of stuff happens, dude. And also, by the way, I'll just put this out there. If the Rams play in Denver in the preseason, dude, anybody who wants to come out and hang out and try to get a bunch of autos, do it, dude, because I know where to go in Denver. It's one of the places I know where to go to get all the autos. I know how to do it, man. So come and join me. It's going to be an awesome time. That being said, though, the NFL draft is coming up this week, coming from Green Bay. I'm going to be, of course, checking it out live. I'm not going to go live on anything for it, like during the draft. That's my time to be a fan, man. It's kind of like my thought process on like during games. I'm also mostly a Rams fan. I just want to be watching the game, so I'm not going to be streaming or anything like that. But I do think that me and Tuna have been talking about doing Tuna and the Sheriff all 3 mornings of the draft. So look for updates on that. I got to get with Tuna to figure out our scheduling on that stuff, but should be rather fun as, of course, draft time coming up, man. I love the draft. People think I hate the draft. I love the draft. I hate mock drafts. Love the draft. Everything about the draft, just not mock drafts. I just think they're pointless. That's all. That is going to do it for me. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. At Ram Showcase, at Sheriff Joe Bags. It's where you follow along on the socials. And let me know who you want the Rams to get. Not who you think the Rams will get. Who do you want the Rams to get? Because my number one, if I had my pick of anybody in this class, Travis Hunter, dude. That guy's so sick. So sick. And then next up will be Janty. That guy's awesome as well. But those are my 1 and 2. Let me know who you would want. If Rams were number 1 overall or something like that. Anybody, you can have anybody. Who would you want the Rams to take? Who is your number 1 prospect in this year's draft class, man? Let me know. But I am Sheriff Joe Bags. This has been Ram Showcase on Sports War Radio and the Fansided Network. For those of you who aren't Rams fans, our thoughts and prayers are with you. For those of you who are Rams fans, thank you so much for watching, and go Rams.